Hello, Carlita.
Hi there. How are you?
Good. Sorry, I'm a minute late. I just hopped from one call over to this one.
No worries, honey. Thank you so much for doing this for us. I'm not sure who's hosting you. Do you know who asked you? I mean, I'm here. I can absolutely host you.
Yes, Sherry Nichols did.
Sherry Nickel. Okay, I'm not sure if she's on here or not yet, but I logged in. So you know what? We can go ahead and let you get started. I know she was doing another call earlier, so she may be hopping on a little bit later. So let me introduce you and we'll get going. You guys, everybody, this is my dear friend, Nikki Smith, who is just one of the best in Arbonne and has been on such a great journey. And what I love about her is her I love her heart. I love her as a friend. I love her heart for people. You guys, she has such a heart for missions. And I know a lot of you know Beth Lomas, and Nikki and Beth have done so many amazing things for the mission in Haiti. And her passion gets so many big things going on in life that it's just amazing to watch. And I look at her in awe and think, gosh, how do those people do what they do and still build a successful business? And so I will tell you, I'm very excited that I get to actually introduce my dear friend, Nikki Smith, to you all and let you sit at her feet tonight, because I will tell you, you will be blown away by whatever it is that she is going to share with us tonight. So sit back. I will tell you and encourage you, please put listening ears on, because you will be sorry if you're only half listening to this. So get yourself, where you can sit and listen, take notes, and soak her in, because she is a gift to this world and to you tonight. I love you, Nikki. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Right back at you. Well, holy cow. Thank you, sweet friend. You guys, your fearless leader, Carlita, was somebody that I looked up to when I came into my business. And so one of the coolest things about staying in Arbonne is the people that were your idols when you started become your dear friends and the people that you do life with. And that's a cool thing. And what you realize is that we're all just everyday people that made a non-ordinary decision and stuck with something. And then we get to do life together. And so I am so grateful, because I see so many faces on here that I know and love and have built relationships with, and feel a little bit like an adopted friend into the Nelson success line. So I feel at home here with you guys, and so honored to be asked to share with you, because I will tell you, being asked to share with another team is a huge honor. It's also a huge responsibility, because it's kind of like our own kids, right? We choose very closely and carefully who we allow to speak into their hearts, into their ears, into their lives. And we do that because we know that words have power. And so I don't take it lightly that I get to be here with you guys tonight. I pray that my words are ones that encourage you. I see that we have 207 people on here, so way to show up, Nelson's success line. But I know that on a call this size, there are people in every area of their business. There are people that are at high highs. There are people that are low lows. There are people that are coasting, maybe feeling like they're doing all the right stuff and they're not getting any traction. There's probably people that have recently lost titles. There's probably people who are in promotion for new titles. And so it's hard to speak to all of that. But you guys, here's what I can tell you. I have been in Arbonne for 13 years. I have been on high highs. I have been on low lows. I have been on long valleys that just plateaued and didn't go anywhere. I have earned titles. I have lost titles. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my story, you guys, because I really do want to talk to you about something that I think is important. But I lost my region, stayed stuck for 6 years because I was so caught up on a title that I lost all reality of what really matters. And so one little tip I'm going to tell you is, if you're here and you're freaking out about a title, tomorrow's the last day of the month, right? But guess what, you guys? You work hard until the buzzer, until midnight tomorrow. You give it everything you have. But the beautiful thing and the curse is that March 1st, my web stats, Carlita's web stats, Shelly's web stats, the brand new consultant's web stats, when we wake up, they all say 0. They all say 0. And so we act like tomorrow is do or die. No, it's not, because it's going to be 0 no matter what on March 1st. And we're going to have to do the same thing again to get where we want to go. And so don't live and die on your title or your volume, you guys. One mistake that I made in my business is I let my Arbonne slice become the entire pie. And that is dangerous. That is dangerous, you guys. You were already awesome when you came into Arbonne. I do believe that we get awesomer when we're in Arbonne because we're with really great people, but you were already somebody's mom, somebody's wife, somebody's friend, somebody's accountability partner, somebody's coworker. And for some reason in Arbonne, sometimes we get so caught up in what we're doing that we forget that this is a piece of the pie. You guys, your Arbonne life is that. It's a thread that's woven through, but you can't let it become the thing that determines the emotions in your house. When I was having a great Arbonne month, I was an awesome mom. I was excited. I was cheerful. I was such a loving wife, and I was cooking dinner. And when I had an awful month, I was like on the couch with a blanket and a glass of wine, and life was horrible, watching the housewives. Do not ride the emotional wave of web stats. You are in a business that's sales related. It is going to fluctuate. Do not let your emotions do that work. I'm still learning that, but so that's just a free tidbit in my story. Got to region, lost my region, stayed at area for 6 years, stuck, went back to region, went to nation, promoted a nation, lost my nation, re-earned my nation. And so trust me, there is not an emotion, a doubt, a fear, a sorrow, a fetal position moment that I have not had in this business. If you are there, I guarantee you I've been there. My husband travels 150 nights a year. I had kids that were in hospitals for months at a time. I battled with depression. So again, I get it, you guys. We all have our stuff. And it comes down to making a decision if this business is the vehicle that's going to change your family's life. And side note, I think that if you're on this call, that you're the 3% of people in the world that know about this opportunity. So I think that's your sign. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that you're here. I every day think, what if I wasn't the 3%? Because the other 97%, you guys that live in your neighborhoods, that go to your schools, that shop at your grocery stores, that are attending your churches, they are praying for something like the 3% of us know about. And so never doubt that you're supposed to be here. What we need to focus on is what do we need to be effective here? Okay, and so that's what I really want to talk about tonight is how do we get really, really efficient and effective in our businesses and in our life? Because again, we are our advertising department. You guys, that's a blessing and a curse. You are your PR, you are your HR, you are your marketing, you are everything. And so the way that you live your life is a direct reflection on people wanting to be attached to your business or not. We do business with people we know, like, and trust. That means that if you're a hot mess on social media, people are not thinking, ooh, I can't wait to call her to have her help me lose weight. She's angry every day. She's always complaining. She's so involved in politics. Like, doesn't that sound like a great health coach, right? And so we have to pay attention to every piece of that pie that I was talking about. And so 13 years in this, I've done it all wrong at seasons. I've had my husband look at me and say, hey, Nick, at what length and what risk are you willing to get that title? Are you willing to do it by totally abandoning your family? And again, this is a man who's full board on the boat with me for this business, but he also knows that I will regret having wasted chunks of time with my children because I was chasing a title. Okay, so this is not about you can do both and you can do both well. You can, but we often become so unbalanced that one area greatly suffers. And you guys, I want to save you from that if at all possible. I know your leaders want to save you from that because I believe to my core that you can be an amazing spouse. that you can be an amazing mom, that you can be unbelievably healthy, that you can build a multi-million-dollar business, and you can do them all at the same time, because I've done them all at the same time. Now, can I grow in every area? Absolutely, always. And so I'm always trying to get better. But I just recently did a training for, and I need to watch my clock here because you guys, I get excited. But I just did a training at our DM retreat for 100 people last month. And I was like, I don't like to train on nuts and bolts. I'm just going to be honest. I'm like, I don't want to tell people how to book a presentation. I want to tell people like how to embrace life and live full out. And so every year they ask me to do that training, and it's hard to change it up every year, year after year after year. And so I really just prayed through, what am I supposed to talk about? And we had just been going through a series in church by Andy Stanley called The Principle of the Path. I don't know if you guys have read that book. If you haven't, it's one that I would encourage you to add to your reading list. He's a great leadership author. One of my favorite books that he wrote is called Visioneering, How to Lead People with Vision. But Principle of the Path. And so we did this 4-week, 5-week message series. And it's funny how when you're in Arbonne, it doesn't matter if you're at church or a women's conference or where you are, everything that's being said, you're like, yep, yep, yep. And then you're like, ooh, I could apply that to my Arbonne business. Ooh, that's a great training. And as I listened to this Principle of the Path, I was like, this is what I need to train at the DM retreat. So I'm going to give you guys kind of a short version, a Cliff Notes version on the principle of the path and how that works in your business. So what is the principle of the path, right? So when we think about principles or laws are things that nobody like goes out and makes up. Laws are things that are discovered and you can't argue. So let's take, for example, the law of gravity, the law of buoyancy, any of these things, right? Someone just at some point discovered them. Newton, whoever, discovered that, oh, this is what gravity is, or, oh, this is how buoyancy works, and you can't argue it. It's just a law. And the same thing is the principle of the path or the law of the path. And that says that the direction you're going determines your destination, right? You can't argue with that. You can't say, I'm heading north, but my destination, I'm going to end up south. No, you're not. If you are moving north, your destination is north, right? And so as I listened to this, I thought, oh, that's good stuff, like, right? But we know that. But I was like, here's what I really want to know. What determines the direction? If direction determines destination, what determines our direction? And you guys, it's our decisions. It is our decisions. And I think, if you've asked anybody in Arbonne, whether you're sitting next to them or somebody's gone really fast in Arbonne or somebody's been stuck in Arbonne forever and all of a sudden they go really fast and you're like, well, what happened? What changed in your business? We all think there's like going to be a secret that nobody's been telling us. And they go, you know what? I decided. You know what I do when people say that? I'm like, that's the stupidest answer ever. Because I decided at Vegas and I decided at the DM retreat. And then I was at Carlita's, who was her name? Carlita's RVP retreat. And I decided again. And then I went to GTC and I decided. So that is not the secret. The secret is not that you decided. But here's the truth. The secret is that I decided to make a decision every single day that the next day I would make the same decision. And on Friday, I'd make the same decisions. And on Saturday, I'd make the same decisions, because the tiniest decisions that we make every single day determine our direction, which determines our destination. And you guys, you can trace this to anything in your life. Think about it. Your health. Right? I'm on day 42 of clean eating. I'm very proud of myself. I rolled myself right into month 2. And I thought, maybe if I had a chocolate, what if I sat down, and this isn't real life because I did not have the chocolate, but what if I sat down tonight and I ate an entire box of Thin Mints, because there's 10 boxes of them in my kitchen because I love to support cute little girls. So there's 10 boxes of Thin Mints, and I could go tonight and I could eat an entire box of Thin Mints. And tomorrow, if I weighed myself, there is a really good chance I will not have gained weight, right? And so I can take that and I can say, well, I ate an entire box of Thin Mints and I didn't gain weight, so I'm going to do that every day. You guys, over a year, I would probably gain 10, 15, 20, maybe more pounds, because a small decision that maybe right then didn't seem like it had a lot of impact, but when done repeatedly over and over and over, you wake up in a destination and you go, oh my gosh, how did I get here? And the answer is you got there one decision at a time. In your marriage, right? I can be really crabby at my husband tonight. And I can be like, oh, well, he still gave me a hug the next morning. So I can be like, I could be a jerk to him every single day. And guess what? On day like 10, 20, 30, guess who might not even want to be in the same room as me, right? It's small decisions made over and over and over that, whether they're good or bad, will lead us to the destination. And here's the crazy thing, you guys. Nobody ends up bad on purpose, right? We end up somewhere on accident very often, specifically when it's not where we want to be. I think when we end up where we want to be, it's very often on purpose. When we end up where we don't want to be, it's very often on accident because we weren't taking inventory of the daily decisions. And so I want to talk about how do we make really good decisions every day. And I think that we have this big gap between intention and action. Like, we have the best intentions in the world to build this business and go gusto. And then somewhere in between that intention and the action plan, we fall into the Grand Canyon of nothingness. And so how do we, intention isn't going to get us where we want to go. You guys, intention is great. It feels good. You write it down on paper one day, but intention without action is pointless. It is absolutely pointless. So how do we go from making an awareness of where we want our destination to be and then backing that up? And here's what I'll tell you, I really think it boils down to. And here's the really amazing thing about having had bad decision habits. There is not a day in your life that you can't decide to turn the ship around at any point. And so that's the really cool thing. You can be so far off base, so far off navigation and route of where you want to be. But today, tonight, before you go to bed, you can make the decision to put habits into place that will turn your ship around in your business, in your marriage, in your parenting, in your health now. And it starts with the decision you make tomorrow morning. It starts with the decision not to hit the snooze button. It starts with the decision to look your husband in the eyes and not stare at your cell phone. It starts with the decision to calm down, put your phone down, and look at your children when they're talking to you. It starts with not keeping the chocolate in the house if that's a temptation for you. It's the tiniest thing that starts the turn of the ship to the destination where you want to be. And so I love to work backwards. I think there's something very powerful about working from where do I want to be and then how do I chunk that back? Because I can get very overwhelmed at looking at something. Let's say I'll use my personal example. So I lost my nation. The month after I promoted to nation, I had a region walk away, completely could not revive her business. So $40,000 sliced, right? Then very, very soon, I had a nation promote. It's another 120 slash. So if you did the math, that's 120 plus 40, that's 160. It takes 160 to be a nation. You guys, I found myself doing $30,000 in my central as an executive regional vice president with a direct nation going, how in the world do I fill a 90,000 gap? Like, right, it took me 13 years or 10 years, I guess, at that point to get there. How do I even do that? And I couldn't look at 90 because it freaked me out. And so what I had to say is, Nikki, you need to get your nation back. And here's what that looks like. God bless Linda Parker. That looks like 8 area managers, right? And so then you say, if I need 8 area managers, then what do I need? I need a whole bunch of districts. And if I need a whole bunch of districts, what do I need? I need a lot of activity, and I need a lot of Facebook Lives, and I need a lot of intentionally talking about this business. And you break that down so that you know what your daily steps are. You're not just saying, I need 90,000. I need 90,000. Because if you need 90,000, you will sit on the couch and you will eat Thin Mints and drink wine. And in a year, you'll be 30 pounds overweight, depressed, and still at the same place in your business. And you'll go, what do I do? Right? And so it's this constant being aware. Here's the things that I think take us off course most often. Distraction, overcommitment. Can I get an amen? I am a total girl that thinks busy means important. And that is a hard thing that God has had to teach me, that is a bold-faced lie. Busy means insecure often. And it means that I need approval from all people. I am learning that every time I say yes to somebody else, I am saying no to the people in my house. You guys ask yourself, is this yes to them worth a no to my family? If it's not, building your paycheck, building your family, building your health, you probably should say no to it for a season. So we cannot be overcommitted. Lack of planning a lot of times causes us to be completely stuck because, again, without a plan, we just wake up every day and we're like, well, I guess I'll just cruise Facebook and post those 5 Insta stories the millennials told me I should be doing to build a huge business. And then you're like, I guess I'm done. And then mindset and doubt, you guys, totally takes us off of our track on where we need to be. And so if you are not clear in your mindset, and that doesn't mean that you don't struggle with mindset, it means that you're aware of your weaknesses and you know how to shore those things up and get help to constantly be working on those so that when disappointment comes, it becomes a very, very, very short speed bump. It doesn't become a complete roadblock. And so ask your upline, you guys, what you need if you need help with that. I love the book Crash the Chatterbox by Stephen Furtick. That is single-handedly one of the things that got me out of my 6-year slump to get back to Region and Nation. It's also a 6-week sermon series on YouTube. You can just type Crash the Chatterbox. Even if you're not somebody of faith, you guys, there is so much you can take from this. It's about, we are the CEO of our head and we get to choose who's the CEO. And if you have hired a crap factory, that's the exact words in the book, if you have somebody serving up your company in your head that is negative, you're going to be producing a lot of negative. And so taking charge of the chatterbox that runs all the time and being in control of that. And so those are things that take us off target. And so how do we get those long-term goals and then work backwards? I got to keep an eye on my clock here. Number one, do you know what your long-term goals and dreams are? Rachel Hollis, right? She's going to be at our conference, super fun. She has that journal, the Rachel Hollis, the Hollis Company Journal. They're sold out right now. I can send you a picture of a page. I have a PDF that I kind of made that's similar. You guys, every single day, you're writing 3 things that you're grateful for. And then my favorite, I mean, I love the grateful part, but what has been really awesome for me and something me and my husband are working through together and have had a lot of conversations about is she has you write down 10 things that you want for your big dreams, your big goals, but in you're writing them as if they've already happened. So for instance, she wrote, I am a New York Times bestselling author. I am the most sought after speaker in the United States. I am. So they're I am statements that are way far out. Way far out. You don't have a plan for them yet. You don't know how they're going to come to fruition. You don't even know if it's going to be part of your future. But right now, it's your 10 biggest goals and dreams for your life. So I love doing this with a spouse if you have a spouse because it's really important if you have 10 main goals in your life that they align with your partner. Now, maybe a couple of them might be more personal, but overall, they're probably going to overlap. What does my bank account look like? What does my lifestyle look like? What does my business look like? And so you write these 10 things, the same ones every single day, but you guys, you work on one. You work on one. So what this does is, you know, the statistics of writing down goals and dreams. As you write it to paper, your likelihood of it happening goes up something like 84%. 84%. That is the best return on any investment you could ever have. Like you get 7 to 10% on a great stock market, 84% on your dreams if you write them down repeatedly over and over. Your brain starts to believe that it's true, and you start to take action steps that actually get you to where you're saying you want to be. But you're working on one. So it's focused activity. And so when you know where you want to be in your marriage, in your parenting, with your children, with your finances, it allows you to have this long-term vision. So you guys, you have to have that long-term vision. The second thing I think that you have to have is the top 4 priorities in your life. This kind of goes back to the overcommitment. For me in my life, it is my husband, my children, my faith, my health. Arbonne is my 5th. Now I could probably put my husband, I could put family. So I could go family, faith, my health, my business. Because guess what, you guys? Those are the only 4 things in the universe that only I can do. There is not one other thing outside of being Jed's wife, outside of being Madison, Olivia, and Landon's mom, outside of taking my own self to the gym and controlling the foods that I put in my mouth. If we can figure that out for somebody else to do it, I would be thrilled. I would love to take that one off my plate and give that to somebody else. Like, hey, you go ahead and go exercise while I build my business. And then you guys, only I carry the ID 154144457. Everything else that I do, the cookies that I bake for the school, the organizations that I volunteer for, the this, the that, every other role I play, somebody else can do. And often when I say yes to those things, it holds people up that are gifted to do those things from being able to do them. So sometimes your no to something is somebody else's awesome yes. So what are the 4 main things that you're focusing on? If you don't have kids, if you don't have a husband, yours can look a little bit different because there's room for 4 things to be working on in your life. So what are they? And identify those. And then ask yourself, what brings me joy? Like, where do I love working? She mentioned that I did this stuff with Haiti. You guys, that brought me so much joy. Was it a ton of work? Yes, but there was a time when a passion and a purpose collided. And I think sometimes in our Arbonne business, we wake up one day and we figure out what it is. I did not know what that was when I started Arbonne. If you would have said, what's your passion and your purpose? I would have been like, to not change diapers. Like, I don't know. But as we grow in Arbonne, our vision grows. Because when I started Arbonne, $6,000 as a district, I don't even think we had 6,000. I think it was 7,500. It seemed crazy scary. But guess what? 13 years later, we do that in a couple hours on a good, you can sell $7,500 of a new fizz stick flavor in 15 minutes. As a national vice president. Those are the numbers that I used to dread for 3 months worth of time. And so what happens is your vision grows as your business grows. Do you not think that translates out into other areas in your life? So that when somebody says, well, we can build a house for $6,500, I was like, well, that's a piece of cake, right? Before Arbonne, I would have been like, yeah, that's not a reality. You guys, you growing your business and growing your vision affects how you parent. My kids are different kids because of growing up in Arbonne, because they have seen me fall so hard. They have found me in the fetal position, but they have found me back at my desk the next day. That has taught my children more lessons than anything I could ever give them. And so be clear on those things that bring you joy and the things that you're committed to no matter what. And then make daily decisions that reflect those things. So when you are making a decision, and I'm going to give you an example from a conversation that was hard that I had with my husband this morning. And it was the fact that I continually make a decision to have my face in my phone, right? I knew at the beginning of the year that I am becoming too connected to this third arm. I even buy glasses to wear when I look at it so it doesn't affect me, right? But the reality is I made a decision on December 31st that was an area I needed to work on. So I went and I installed apps that have timeouts, that have like reminders like, hey, 5-minute warning, it's almost bedtime, or no screens, because I set no screen from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. But there's a button that says allow for 15 more minutes, or there's a button that says turn off limits for the day. And you guys, I have continually made the decision to take my finger and hit the button and hit the button and hit the button. One tiny decision that seems hardly even big at all, like what's the problem? Until my husband says to me, I was talking to you and you were like texting and sending messages, and he's feeling like I have totally not paid attention to him, and I ultimately have made this device more important than my husband because it's addictive. And I've made decisions that have allowed me to become attached to this. And you guys, we don't realize how quickly we do that with things in our business too. How quickly we think, well, I know I should be making 10 calls a day, but 3, I'm going to do 3. Or I know that I should be on that call with my team, but there's a great show on. I'll catch the recording. Or I'm not going to go to the retreat because my kid has a soccer game on Saturday that I can't miss. You guys, it's the tiniest little decisions that derail us. And we have to start becoming accountable to the tiny decisions that we make every single day. Because the reality is that those decisions become our destination. And I will be sick to my stomach if in 15 years, my relationship with my husband isn't what it could be because I looked at a phone. Like, right? If I send my kids off to college and I think, well, everything's paid for because I built this massive business, but they missed out on all of the best of me because they got what was left of me, right? I want, in the end of my life, for my kids not to talk about I don't want my team to say, oh my gosh, she was in the $1 Million Club and she was this and she was this. I want my team to say, she showed up. She led by example. She had integrity. She set boundaries. I want my kids to not say she worked her butt off at her job. I want my kids to say she was overflowing with joy and we knew we were a priority. And I want my husband to say she was deeply dedicated and committed to me and to our family, and she was my biggest supporter, not she was fiercely successful and she could run a wicked business from Voxer, right? And I want at the end of my life to hear, well done, good and faithful servant. And it doesn't come from acquiring things. It comes from building into relationship and people and living a life that makes other people want to live their best life. And so if the decisions that you're making are not reflecting those priorities in your life, you guys, I ask you to take time even tonight to decide, where are you going to prioritize tomorrow? Because it starts tomorrow. It starts with when you go to bed and you put your phone down. You think, probably not even going to carry this thing up tonight because I'll be so guilt-ridden after talking to you guys. Like, what are you going to do? What are the small decisions that you're going to make right now to change the destination of your life in all areas? So with that, Carlita, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Nikki. Sherry is on. Sherry, do you want to unmute? I kind of took over her spot. Can you unmute this, Sherry?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I'm
Okay. Is it echoing big time?
No, not anymore.
Okay. I was on my computer and for some reason my computer wouldn't let me talk to you guys earlier, but I was like, hey, so I had to get on my phone. But Nikki, thank you so much. I literally had tears in my eyes multiple times and took so many notes, and I can't wait to go back and listen. And I love that you always just bring such vulnerability, and you're just so transparent that I think everyone in the world could relate to you. And if people didn't walk away from this just determined and transformed, then they need to listen again. But I was just looking through the feed, and there are so many people that I know you touched their hearts today, and I know you did that for me. And every time you speak, there's wisdom that comes from your lips. And I know that God has totally gifted you with a gift to just paint vision and to help other people to rise to their best selves. And so you've been given an amazing platform, and I know it's come with a lot of struggles, but I know that those struggles are what are going to help your story be so impactful for so many more to come in the years to come. So thank you so much for saying yes in the midst of your busyness. And I'm so glad I got to sit at your feet with everybody else.
Well, I adore you, sweet friend.
I'm sorry, this is Carlita, honey, and I do have to just say thank you for taking time, because I do know that you run your life by your priorities. And you guys, that's what I love about this business, is that we, you can say, Arbonne, you don't want your family to say that you had this wicked business that, when you're gone. But what I think is that Arbonne has done for me, I know what Arbonne has done for me, is it has helped me learn how to cut out the things that were not important so that I could put in the important things. Like you said, I have those same priorities in my life, and I didn't have those priorities. I tell everybody, I would have said faith was my first priority, family was my second, my job, and then anything else comes after that. And I said, but if you look at my calendar, it didn't reflect that. It was you know, my job was on there first, and, you know, my kids' events, my husband was put in there somewhere whenever we had time, and who knows where the faith was. And so it isn't just, you guys, I want young people, new people, that when you're incorporating this into your life, it is overwhelming. And I will tell you, be careful, don't give up the wrong thing, because you need to learn how to understand how to give up the right things that are not going to give you what you have a vision for your faith and your family, and the difference that you want to make in this world. You've got to make sure you're giving up the right things and you're protecting those things, because I will tell you, you have plenty of time to build, to take care of your faith, to take care of your husband, to take care of your kids, and to build an incredible Arbonne business if you do it right. But that is the skill that you're learning in this journey. And I will tell you, it's because of Arbonne, I know what my priorities are, and I've learned how to protect them and take care of them in a way that nothing ever taught me how to do it before Arbonne. So if you guys are struggling with this and wondering how to get time in, ask for help with your upline, because you guys, it is, if you try to take and put in an Arbonne business in an already over full life that's out of control. The reason we get attracted to Arbonne is because we're feeling like life is controlling us, and we finally stand up and we go, I want to be in control of my life. But at the time you come in here, you're being controlled by life, and you've already spent over 24 hours probably every day being controlled by life and trying to do what you have to do. And now you try to add Arbonne on top of it. And as Arbonne consultants who are here to build a business, we need to help you learn how to incorporate Arbonne into life and help you start realizing what you need to say no to. I know we talk all the time, say no to the good so you can say yes to the great. And that, you guys, is a skill. And so I just want to be careful to say with new people, don't think you have to don't set Arbonne down. This is, like Nikki said, you're the 3% that are supposed to be here. And you're here to be able to use this for your family and to help other families learn how to take control of their life and take care of what really matters in life, because there's nothing else out there in the world that will help you do that or give you the permission and equip you to play it out in your life like Arbonne will. So I appreciate you so much, Nikki, for pouring into us whenever it has nothing to do with you personally, for your family. So go take care of that precious family of yours. Leave that phone downstairs and tell your husband thank you for sharing you and with all of us. We love you, we love him, and we love your family. And I'm so grateful this journey has connected our hearts and brought us together.
Yes, awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a fantastic night.